Hello everyone, it's me again, the Banter Guy, and welcome to another review by me. This time I've got a slightly more obscure one for you, Oz the Great and Powerful. I went to see it at the cinema 2 days ago, and how to put this? The film wasn't as I expected, I'll say that. It was basically an excuse to have three of the biggest film actors doing a prequel to a film that came out more than 100 years ago, probably by now. So it didn't feel like it was supposed to be there. I mean, James Franco, he's a good actor, and I like him in Spider-Man 3. His cheesy grin works here or there in Spider-Man 3, not in Oz the Great and Powerful. His cheesy smile just makes you want to die. Just curl up into a ball and die, because it was making me cringe in my seat for about half the film. And it was just horrendous. It was one of the freaking stupidest film concepts ever. And the worst thing was, I felt like it was trying too hard to be what the original The Wizard of Oz had been. I mean, it wasn't like I expected. I mean, I would have much rather preferred that it wasn't set. Like if Oz was from the 21st century or something like that, but then that wouldn't have made sense as to when Dorothy went, because she would have been dead. I would have much rather Oz was from like the modern day and he was like a military officer, and instead of, with his weird magician tricks and his big smoke screen crap, he would have just, he would have just been like, if there was a Wicked Witch, he would have been like, grenade! And blew her up. But that wouldn't have made much sense. So, yeah, I mean, the film starts off black and white, and in three. Who thought 4:3 for an aspect ratio would be good for the first half an hour of the film? I don't know, an idiot maybe. Um, no, but it changes aspect ratios when he gets to Oz, and it just it. I felt like it was trying way too hard to replicate the old film and to be as that old film was, because that was when films were becoming coloured, multicolored, like in colour, was when The Wizard of Oz came out, and so they were using it to full effect back then. Now, though, you didn't. I would have much rather the whole film was in colour and that it was all in 16:9 as an aspect ratio, but it doesn't. For the first 20-30 minutes of the film, it's 4:3 in aspect ratio, and it's in black and white when it should have been in brown and white, but whatever. Yes, so that was the my first problem with it. My second problem with it was that it was very sexually innuendo for a PG film. I mean, there were a lot of points where Rachel Weisz, who was playing Evanora, the Witch of the East, I think, is what her character would be in The Wizard of Oz. Anyway, yeah, Evanora is being played by Rachel Weisz, and she, when she first meets Oz, is like, "Oh, I live to serve you. I will do nothing but serve you." It's like the innuendo there is a bit much, and then James Franco makes it even more inappropriate by saying, "I look forward to being served because I'm a freaking pervert." I mean, that's all I got from James Franco for this whole film. He's a pervert, he's a scumbag, and he is. I won't swear, but I was going to swear there, because he's just such a prick through the entire film, and his cheesy smile makes you want to die. Obviously. Now, Mila Kunis, I felt her role was good up until she went green, because they changed the way her face looked to the point where she looked like a Terminator, like with that really weird, massive, square face and the very bold chin. And I mean, yeah, she's supposed to be ugly, but she's Mila Kunis. I mean, you can't make her that ugly. But I mean, up until then, it was pretty much latex outfits through the entire film. Skin tight, latex trousers. Everyone was wearing high heeled boots, and well, all the women were, and that was to appeal to the middle aged men audience, right? So yeah, just getting out of the way. That is what that is for. Um, I don't know what else you want me to say about that, because that is what it is there. It's to make uh, it's to make the audience wider, but then you feel like because it's a PG, it is a children's film. It shouldn't be. I mean, I went to see it because I like The Wizard of Oz. I think it's a good film. I think it's quite funny in a lot of aspects. But I didn't like this film as much. I mean, if I was to rate The Wizard of Oz just on the spot here, I would give it an 8 out of 10. If I was to rate this, well, I'll get to that at the end. The grey and white, or the black and white bit worked. I mean, although I did feel like it was trying too hard, it did work, and it did make the film feel like you were, going from this oldie place into the Wizard of Oz, and then 16 by 9 and gets in color. So that's nice. One of the weird things that they introduced, or Disney introduced for this film, was they made these little water fairies, and I don't know what to think of that, because they weren't in the Wizard of Oz, and they're just there for a wee bit of fun, and basically they were biting James Franco, that they to speak they whistle or something like that. I don't know, but and another thing is that the Wizard of Oz. It felt to me like I was watching The Invention of Lying. It felt very strange. It was also quite weird in the sense that um, if you said something like, because James Franco, obviously he would be playing the part of the liar, and he when he told a lie, he made Mila Kunis think that she would be his queen, that they would rule laws together and all that other crap. But it was very strange, I thought, and it made me think that if a woman can be that easily scorned and then turn green and swear lifelong revenge against the Wizard of Oz, I don't understand why it happens like that, because I don't have any personal experience with crazy women, but as I understand it, obsessive women can be weird, and that was what Mila Kunis was playing, I guess, in the Wizard in Oz the Great and Powerful. I don't really know. Um, anyway, you go through the film. We get to the Emerald City, which, by the way, looks amazing. Like if the mind-boggling graphics back when the Wizard of Oz came out, because that was quite revolutionary stuff back then. Now the Emerald City is just lovely. It is pristine. It doesn't look CGI, although it is. It doesn't look it. It looks very real and very immersive in the environment. And obviously, there's the part that was in the advert, which was this massive treasure of Oz, and James Franco, being a con man, seeing all this gold, just I don't know how to describe it. The best way I can describe it is, no, I won't say that. But I was going to say something quite interesting, I'll say, but no, he just rolls around in it and acts a bit like a brat. And then he's told he has to kill the Wicked Witch, who isn't actually the Wicked Witch, is actually the Good Witch, and Evanora is the Bad Witch, and stuff like that. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, continuing on, we get to a point where James Franco has the Wicked Witch quotations. I'm just trying to put that in quotations. We get to that point, and he's about to snap the wand of the Good Witch, who he thinks is the Wicked Witch, and then she tells him to stop, or like she sort of appears, and he has some sort of fit, is what I can describe it as, because he just goes sort of oh no, and just flails about all over the place. And then once he's filled out with all the story, in this weird crystal ball thing that Evanora, the Wicked Witch, has, she shows Mila Kunis, and obviously witches are the way to destroy them is water. And Mila Kunis, she starts crying, and that leaves horrible scars on her cheek, and you just sort of see her deteriorate physically and emotionally until the point when she takes the bite out of this apple and becomes the Wicked Witch of the West, or Theodora. And actually, that was one thing, because the characters have such weird names, none of them were all that memorable. I mean, you had Evanora. who was Rachel Weisz. You had Theodora. Now I can't remember if Theodora is the Good Witch or the Wicked Witch of the West. I think Theodora is the Bad Witch, Mila Kunis. And then there was the Good Witch, and I can't remember her name. Obviously, you remember Oz being played by James Franco, but I mean, it was none of the characters were very memorable, aside from one. Was the second character after Mila Kunis? I'm just gonna call them by their names. That Oz meets. So he meets this little monkey. Not because they changed it in Oz the Great and Powerful. Instead of flying monkeys that were evil, it was flying baboons. They were the evil monkeys. And so this was a good flying monkey, and he's called Finley, and he is hilarious. Because pretty much through the entire film he's carrying the Wizard of Oz bags and just trying to get a break, and he's quite funny. Um, he's just funny in quite a lot of aspects, and or like one of them was he was offering the monkey for his service if he helps Oz lie to the good people of the Emerald City. He was saying, "I'll have a pile of gold and I'll give you a pile of bananas." And then Finley goes, "That is a vicious stereotype against monkeys." And then Oz says, "What, you don't like bananas?" And then the monkey says, "Of course I like bananas. I'm a monkey." So, oh goodness, just memories of that scene. It's quite funny. So yeah, that's pretty much sums up all the characters. Then there's a point where they go to this wee Chinatown and there's this China doll, and it was a reference to the start of the film when he's a magician, obviously, as his career, I guess. He was doing magic tricks, and there's this wee girl who's sitting down, and she's crippled, and she says to Oz, "Make me walk again," and all the audience are saying, "Make the girl walk," and he says, "I can't." And then it's quite depressing. But then there's a reference then later on when this wee China girl is missing her legs, and he has this glue that he uses because she's made of china. She can just slip the legs back on, and she can walk again, and it's all lovely. There's quite a lot of references to humorous parts of the start and during the middle part of the film. But after that, he's met all his friends. Then the Good Witch fills him in completely on what's going on, and then Oz is saying that these tinkers, farmers, and munchkins, they're not soldiers. Um, and so he's pretty much screwed because people of uh, the good city, I guess you'd say, are forbidden to kill. And then Oz is like, wait, you've given me an army that are forbidden to kill. So how am I supposed to defeat the Wicked Witches? And he comes up with this idea of projecting the image of himself into a big smoke cloud with black powder and stuff, and that's what is the reference to then the Wizard of Oz, which was him with the huge face, which is it was nice. It tied up all the knots quite well. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just feel like the film. But my main problem was that it was trying too hard. I mean, that was my biggest problem. The film was trying too hard to be what The Wizard of Oz was to a lot of aspiring children and families back in its day. So it was kind of a cross between a new version of The Wizard of Oz and a prequel. So I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I think if Disney are going to do another Oz film and just remake The Wizard of Oz, they're going to have to explain a lot of things. For example, how is it Dorothy's house crushes the Wicked Witch of the East, which is Evanora, who's being played by Rachel Weisz, and they're going to have to also explain why the evil witch is just she didn't return. And actually, one other thing, the witches all have different sources of power. Mila Kunis, it's her broom. Uh, Rachel Weisz, it's her green pendant. The Good Witch, it's um, her wand. And so, what I really don't get is why in the next film in The Wizard of Oz, why is it that Evanora, the source of her power, is apparently her ruby slippers? I don't understand that at all. So Yeah, it's quite confusing. Yeah, it didn't make sense. It was just the biggest continuity error you can imagine in that aspect. And that's pretty much all I've got to say on that regarding pretty much the entire film. It wasn't as epic as I thought it would be, but then films never really are. You can't really judge a film by its advert because the advert tends to just be the best bits. So if you've got 30 seconds of best bits in a 2 hour film, yeah, a lot of the film's going to be a lot of crap. Um, anyway, coming now to the overall how well I think it did. It did well through fulfilling its story, aside from the green pendant and the ruby slipper mix-up. I don't see where that came into it, but yeah. So aside from that mix-up, it had pretty good acting. Aside from James Franco's death-defying smile, um, the story behind Mila Kunis, where she was a woman scorned and she turned evil, didn't make much sense to me. That just seemed a bit just tying up loose ends and no room for any reason, proper reasoning. I mean, behind that. Thirdly, a bit too much sexual innuendo was my problem with the film. But finally, one thing it had going for it all the way through was the film had some very, very clear start, middle, and end points, and it had a very good, well thought out story. The only problem was the execution of it wasn't particularly well done. Another thing I would have changed would have been why is everyone wearing latex outfits, knee-high heeled boots? I don't get that either. Why does it seem that like a lot of the fairy tale characters were coming out of Alice in Wonderland? I didn't get that either. Yeah, there was a few problems with it in that respect. Anyway, so overall, with the Oz the Great and Powerful gets a overall 5 out of 10. It's okay. It's a 5 out of 10 definitely. It's an okay film. It's not a great film because of the way the story is told and the way that that they're trying to appeal to too many audiences. So it fails there. But across the rest of the board, it does okay. It does okay as a film. The editing was good. You didn't feel like it was dragging on. You were never bored. That was a really good point. And there were quite a few jokes at the start. For an example, one of them was that James Franco to woo ladies has this music box, and he's got probably about 3 or 4 of them that are just the wee cheap music boxes. And he just says, "Well, this belonged to my grandmother, and she died fighting in the war." And then the woman asks, "What war?" And then he's like, "Have you heard of the Battle of Salamahalaki?" No, good. And so jokes like that are quite funny. I wouldn't recommend watching it. I would recommend waiting for the DVD and waiting till it goes on a sale price and then buying it, just if you're interested. But as for seeing it at the cinema, no. Particularly if you're going to see it in something like 3D, if you're gonna get all the gizmos and all the extras like 3D, some of these motion detectable seats, and all that other crap and all this new stuff that's coming in with stuff like The Hobbit, but that technology wasn't used here. But just saying, if you get the gimmicks, basically, it's going to bring it down to about a 3 out of 10 at the moment. Because I saw it in 2D, because I am not seeing another 3D film ever again. I've seen enough 3D films in my lifetime to know that I hate it. So yeah, but if you see it in 3D, it's going to bring it down to about 3 out of 10. If you see it in 2D, like I did, in the VIP section, which was a section I got because I got my tickets about a week ago because I was looking forward to the film quite a lot. Because I like The Wizard of Oz. I think it's a great film, so I want to see this. No, yeah, so if you want to see an Oz film, see The Wizard of Oz. Just go out, buy the original. You can get it for about £2 online. You can get it for maybe £3 in a movie store. This is in Britain, UK prices. But yeah, so The Wizard of Oz, 8 out of 10. Oz the Great and Powerful, 5 out of 10. That's my final rating. If you've got any other opinions, comment below. Yeah, so I've been the Banter Guy, and I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. Bye bye.